In a small, dusty African village nestled between rolling hills and vast farmlands, lived a girl named Tando. She was the youngest of 5 siblings in a humble family, scraping by on a modest income. Her father was a farmer, growing maize and cassava, while her mother worked in the village market, selling handmade pots and baskets. Life was hard, but Tando's dreams were big, dreams of a better life, dreams of wearing clothes that fit, dreams of going to school, and most importantly, dreams of helping her family escape poverty. One day, a letter arrived at the family hut. It was an offer from the Chimwena family, one of the wealthiest families in the city. They needed a house girl, and Tando was the chosen one. The Chimwenas were known for their pristine reputation, wealth, and influence in the community. They lived in a grand house with a manicured garden, servants in crisp uniforms, and children who attended the best schools. Tando's family saw this as their chance, a chance for her to make money and improve their lives. Though nervous and hesitant, Tando set out for the city, her heart heavy with the weight of leaving her family behind. The city was like a dream, a maze of bustling streets, towering buildings, and people who lived in a world entirely different from hers. As she entered the Chimwena household, the stark contrast between her old village home and this grand mansion became clear. The house was filled with imported furniture, sparkling chandeliers, and walls adorned with paintings of places she had never seen. Tando was overwhelmed. Her task was simple: help with the chores, take care of the children, cook the meals, and ensure the house stayed spotless. The master of the house, Mr. Chimwena, was a stern, hardworking businessman who rarely had time for anyone. His wife, Madam Chimwena, was elegant and commanding, with an air of perfection that was almost suffocating. But it was their daughter Naledi who intrigued Tando the most. Naledi was about Tando's age, and though she had everything Tando could ever dream of, expensive clothes, toys, trips abroad, she seemed distant and unhappy. She never smiled, and the walls of her room were covered with magazines of models and pop stars, far removed from the world she lived in. Tando often found her staring out of the window at the children playing in the yard, a faraway look in her eyes. Naledi's life was dictated by her parents' rules. She had to attend private lessons, be the perfect daughter, and was rarely allowed out of the house. Tando's admiration for Naledi slowly turned into resentment. While she spent her days working in the kitchen, cleaning floors, and taking care of the house, Naledi spent hours being tutored, attending glamorous events, and receiving gifts. Tando worked tirelessly from dawn till dusk, with little time to rest. Yet, no matter how much she toiled, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was invisible to the Chimwena family. One evening, as Tando washed the dishes in the kitchen, Naledi walked in, dressed in a flowing silk gown. "You look tired," Naledi observed, her voice tinged with something between sympathy and curiosity. Tando didn't know how to respond, so she just nodded. The tension in the room was palpable as Naledi glanced over at her, noting the exhaustion in Tando's posture. "How do you do it?" she asked softly, almost as if speaking to herself. Tando looked up, startled. "Do what?" Naledi looked at her for a long moment. "Live like this. You don't have anything, yet you still smile, still work so hard." Tando paused. "I do it for my family," she said, her voice quiet but strong. "I work because I want them to be happy. I want them to be proud of me." Naledi looked away, and for the first time, Tando noticed a flicker of something vulnerable in her eyes. "I would trade everything to be like you," the lady said softly, barely audible over the sound of the running water. "To be free, to have a life that's mine." Tando didn't understand at first, but then she saw it. The fear in the lady's eyes. A fear of being trapped, of never being allowed to be who she truly was. While cleaning Madame Chimwena's study, Tando stumbled upon a document. It was a contract, a shady business deal, one that had ties to illegal activities. A wave of shock washed over her. The Chimwena family was involved in something far worse than anyone had suspected. It wasn't just about their wealth, it was about how they had acquired it. But Tando wasn't the only one with secrets. Naledi, too, was becoming more defiant. She started sneaking out of the house, mingling with the wrong crowd, and distancing herself from her parents. Her resentment grew until it spilled over in an act of rebellion. One night, she broke into the study, tore up the contract, and threatened to expose the family's secrets. Tando, seeing the danger, tried to talk sense into Naledi, but the tension was too high. They argued fiercely. In that moment, Tando knew she had to make a choice: stand by the family that had given her a job and a home, or expose them for their corruption and help Naledi escape. After a long, sleepless night, Tando made her decision. She gathered all the courage she had and took the evidence to the authorities. The Chimwena mansion was raided, and the family's illicit activities were brought to light. Tando didn't care about the punishment she would face, for she knew she had done the right thing. In the aftermath, Naledi ran away, seeking a new life free from her parents' control. Tando, meanwhile, returned to her village with a deep sense of satisfaction. She had changed the course of her own life and freed Naledi from her golden cage. Years later, Tando became a successful businesswoman. She often thought of Naledi, wondering if she had found the freedom she had always wanted. But she knew one thing for sure: she would never again let the fear of a powerful family control her. And so, the story of the house girl was no longer just a tale of servitude. It was a tale of courage, resilience, and the power to change one's fate.